And gentlemen, welcome to the Brummie Boys show. We're going to be here for the fourth episode in a row. This is, of course, myself and the Mez bringing you some big night Friday night action. Mez is a little bit out of focus there because his light's being all funny, but it'll catch up. Don't worry, the Discord's being funny. But we're all here ready to talk about a few topics this evening. Me and Mez are not in some good moods, but we've got some things to talk about. Just if you guys are coming here about the tweets.
Yo, my cam's fucked, ain't it?
No, it's fine on my side.
Is it?
Yeah, it's alright.
I'm just looking on the screen, bro. It's fucked.
It's not too bad. Want to restart call quickly?
Yeah, yo, give us 1 second, lads. I've got to look pretty for this. Fuck me.
Well, no, hold on a second. Right, we'll get it in a sec. But we're not going to be talking about some.
Really?
Yeah, it's better. We're not going to be talking about some tweets that we said we were originally going to be talking about, just because we've had some requests to not talk about it from the people that it concerns, so we won't bother. It's whatever. Don't mind about it, even in that kind of way. So, here we go. Nick Lethals has lost his sub because he had to make a new Twitch account. We're here anyway.
You can sub again.
We're here anyway to talk about these kind of things that we always do. Yeah, like I mentioned, myself and Connor not in the best of moods today because we've had some news and that kind of thing. But we'll carry on regardless. We'll keep the show rolling. But things are all looking good from here anyway. So we'll continue onwards. 43 subs is what we're at the moment. Of course, if you do want to subscribe, Brummie Boys, of course, is the only show on Twitch that gives you a certified chance of not catching the coronavirus if you sub with Twitch Prime, and also gives you a certified chance of getting a really successful date as soon as you head back out into the pond. What I am going to do briefly, Connor, is turn on my big light, but if you want to start us off by getting us into our first topic, which I believe tonight is Revenge coming back. Team Revenge, as you remember from 2015 champs, they were in the final as their probably biggest accomplishment. They got 2 people from our scene who've come back and made some big waves. So, Connor, talk about that briefly.
Joey, just before getting this topic, it does help you. It does stop you from getting AIDS.
I don't know about that one.
Definitely does. A sub does. No, I'm confirmed. It's confirmed. Not from me, but it's confirmed. A sub does stop you from getting AIDS, right? And also, you get a free toilet roll signed by me and George. So with every time you wipe your shitty ass, you get to wipe it with the buff and the mez. That is beautiful.
Oh, sure,
that is beautiful. But also, it cures coronavirus, and you will be 100% immune to it. But as George said, Revenge, they're back, and they have sniped up 2 people in our community. One who's just come back from the dead. Good old
big friend of ours.
Indeed, the little Welsh. He's Welsh.
I don't even know.
Fuck me, that's so bad.
You're the one who works with him. You're the one who works with him, not me.
He always says mind at the end of every sentence, so he's definitely Welsh. So it was Kroyos who's come back from the dead after selling his hopes and dreams, buying it all back, then getting back into it. Jamie, you're a moron, pal. But nevertheless, welcome back. And of course, I'm not sure how to say his name. Is it Kaya?
Kayasaurus, I think.
Kayasaurus. Is it Kayasaurus from Peak? Of course, Peak ended 2 weeks ago, 1 week ago. Now we're looking on. Of course, Canny went to Lucendi. He will also be mentioned in the show later on tonight. But for Kayasaurus, he has also joined Revenge, but they both joined under 2 different roles, I believe. But
I think they're both sort of centric around content, which I think, again, so it's head of recruitment for Kaya, and it's also content manager for Jamie. Now, I have absolutely no idea how Jamie managed to land this position.
She's just been gone for like 2 months.
I know, innit?
It's so funny.
I don't understand it. Unless Revenge is now just back to being a bedroom org, I don't think it ever really progressed into being an office org as it is anyway. I think this organization is just the way it is, isn't it, really? I don't think there's anything really
I don't know nothing about them.
No? Well, basically, they were an organization that appeared around 2015 COD Champs. They had that team of Naga, Fen, Remy, Aqua, and Facento in 2015 COD Champs final. They played against Denial. It was real close, whatever, but they didn't make it. So Team Revenge was a completely random team that kind of came out of nowhere. The organisation in itself has been around for a fair bit. I think they've gone through different hands, though, different ownerships, a couple of scandals with regards to people not being paid or whatever, a bit like Denial in itself. That 2015 Grand Finals just cursed. So, I don't know. Again, not really sure what to say about this one in particular. I think it's good for Jamie to get back into the scene with a brand that people know, at least. I think it's good for him to kind of get some big announcement like that. I think it's also good for Kaya to do something like that as well. I don't know what's going on with my hair today. You just have to live with it. The org going to follow him, and then Boomie's in the org. I'm a reliable source. I don't know. It's one of those things. It just seems a bit whack that Jamie, after being out of the scene forever, would come straight back in and just get into a new job, just like that, without having to do any lower service. I mean, he used to just be a producer, so
yeah. I was talking to him about it, and he said, "Who's good to go to now?" And I said, "Honestly, fucking no one probably." He got rejected from ADOS, I believe, and then he sent me a photo of Revenge, and I'm gonna shoot my shot. And I'm guessing that's how the fucking happened. He just shot his shot. And I believe the messages, like, I'm sure he won't mind reading them out because they're not bad. He literally DM'd them saying, I'm guessing the follow is a good sign. And they put, of course,
it's Hadshot who's in charge. Right, there it is.
Hadshot brought it around the end of the year of Excite.
Hadshot's a really great guy. I have a
Wait, who we roasted in V on?
I don't know. I guess Cryossi, because he is a bit of a fucking melon, to be honest.
Cryossi's our melon, though.
We love Jamie.
Only we get to talk smack about Cryossi.
We love Jamie, to be fair. We like him a lot, and we're happy for him that he's managed to find a place where he's, pretty happy, I guess, working under the organisation.
Indeed.
Chris Stealth has just tweeted that he's going to get rid of his longish hair by himself.
No way.
No way.
So I'm out here not wearing a hat because of a stupid fucking Denzel, and he's out here just, cutting his own hair off.
Yeah, he is. All right, so this is Jamie's good mate. All right.
Chris Stealth on a broadcast this weekend with no hair.
Can you imagine as well?
Ugh. Chris, man, come on.
Couldn't be any worse, could it?
Couldn't be any worse.
Literally,
but yeah, I mean,
couldn't be any worse.
For revenge, I didn't even know there was gone. I didn't know who there was before, so...
No, they were the same org before.
Still, they've got a big following, ain't they?
Yeah, well, 12k.
Reactive though? Is it inactive org? I'm not sure.
I think it's been in and out of activity a while. I don't.
Yeah, I mean, okay. Well, their announcement tweets again like 7 likes. Okay, to be fair, their Rainbow Six roster got fucking 107. Fair play.
It's whatever.
So somewhat intact still.
I think there's obviously it's a nice place to go. It's a good thing to put on your CV. People recognise the organisation's 100%. Brand. So whatever's next for these guys is great. But I hope they stick around there and the organisation sticks around as well, because it'd be pretty great if they fucking did. Because I think it would work really well for them. Anyway, I don't really have much more to say on that. We usually open up with the kind of lowbrow topics to kind of ease ourselves into the show a little bit, and then it's about in the middle of the show where we get to the meaty shit. So obviously, as we're omitting one of the topics that Connor tweeted out, we're going with just the schedule that I brought in. We're going to sub it in for a topic on Socially later on as well, because we are absolutely obsessed with talking about these two organisations, ADOS and Socially. What we'll actually talk about beforehand though is the COD Pod, the OG COD Pod. Now, I'm sure that you're aware that myself and Connor have been big advocates of the COD Pod for a long time. We both have appeared on the show as one of the first guests that appeared on it, if you guys are aware of the COD Pod. They emerged at around the same time that Beyond the Call started to really kind of get onto its feet when we released the project like that. They had a show in which they got the three of them, was Aaron, Ash, and Stan.
Corin, Stano, and Taylor.
Yeah, Aaron Taylor. So they got everyone on, and that was their kind of premise, is that it was the three of them just asking a guest questions, really, just chatting to a guest, and that's how it is. The show in itself was reasonably successful, depending on what guests they had on, but realistically, what ended up happening in the end is that they kind of got into some niche guests that generally they only kind of were friends with or what have, and then stopped making the content, really, and we're just wondering where they've gone. I don't know about this one, but my take on the COD Pod is they're a bunch of great guys, and we've spoken about this before. I feel like their show needs something to set them apart, because within themselves, they're not like the outlandish personalities, are they? They're not like me and you, or they're not like the Beyond the Call lot. We were all casters, we're all personalities. We've got things that show through in our broadcasts as such. They don't really have those credentials, so they're trying to do something off the ground to try and build up an amateur esports podcast, and I don't know, sometimes the show did feel a little bit directionless, and that's why we told them this before, so it's free to talk about. We're not just slamming them behind their backs or whatever. Yeah. This is something we've all spoken to them about, because we were trying to work on a merger between them and Beyond the Call at one point. But I don't know, what do you think about this, Connor? They've kind of disappeared, no idea where they've gone, and they don't really show any signs of coming back anytime soon.
Yeah, off topic, George, I just matched a French girl on Tinder, bro. I don't know how that's happened.
Quick story for you guys, by the way. So Connor's sleep cycle's been so screwed lately that what he's done, right? What he's done in order to optimize his Tinder output, because he is such a top shagger, is that he's actually changed his time zone, his location on Tinder, to Australia, so that he can match with birds from Australia.
I mean, I'm up till 7. They're waking up. Good morning, good day, mate. So we go along with it. But yeah. For the COD Pod, as you said, it's free to talk about. We're not bashing them. We've spoken about them. We've tried to help them ourselves. We gave was the word criticism?
We gave our takes. Yeah,
our takes, our thoughts and help. Yeah, I just don't know where they've gone, bro. Like, there was on a Strive. They started the new show as well. The clips of the week or something.
Never even aired, did it?
No, it never aired. So I just don't know. But yeah, I think for the whole podcast I'm not sure what they're doing. I'm not sure if they're working behind the scenes or something. But I think if they are coming back, or if they do plan to come back. I think their show needs to take a new direction, possibly more of a structure to what we have spoke about it. We're not just blasting their show. It's public knowledge to them and to us. Yeah, I think they need a new direction to go in, as in they just need a sort of structure.
Something to set it apart. The thing is, like, all the Beyond the Call shows are all individually different. We do 5 different shows here, all of which have different objectives, different focuses, and then we run individual ones like we're doing this weekend with the European homestand one. So that's still going ahead. Obviously, the tweet was deleted, but that's by the by. That's some stuff. It'll be back out later. Don't worry about that. Nonetheless, we
podcasts on a whole do that though.
Yeah, I don't know. Like,
take the wonder off. You know what I
mean? People just set up podcasts and they just talk about whatever. They just talk about what they see in a week. There's no direction. There's nothing about the show that sets it apart from anything else. There's no flair. Like with us, we do the Brummie Boys. We just shit on everything. We give our brutally honest opinions because the thing is, we kind of give the idea is that if you won't put it on the timeline, you won't say it in a show. So we'll put it on the timeline and say it in a show. Stop subtweeting people. Stop not atting people. That's the vibe that we give off. That's the show that we produce. Connor's found something out his window. What is that?
A Domino's driver arguing with a man in the car, and I believe I'm going to break this down for you guys very quickly.
Give us a play-by-play.
He's living on the doorstep, right? This guy is now he took his shirt off, he's got out of the car, he's moaning. Okay, now the keys are out the ignition. Jesus Christ, it's going off outside the Mez's yard, boys. His Domino's pizza, I believe he didn't want to. Oh, wait, nah, that's not 2 meters, lads. That's not 2 meters, lads. Okay, he's getting very mad. No, okay, he's walking away from him. He's leaving it on the doorstep. He's getting in his car, and Domino's is driving away.
Well, that was a bit of an odd confrontation. Thanks for letting us know.
I know. I'm sure he wants to get it hand delivered. I mean, he wants the Rona. Fair play to him. But yeah, I think that's my view as well. I tweeted it way back when. I'm not sure. I can't find it. I love how that was casted. Everything we do is casted, bro. I'm not sure if I can find it again, but I tweeted something along the lines like, I'm sick of people like subtweeting or atting stuff. Like they're not gonna say it to them. They're not gonna like don't subtweet. If you got the balls to put it on the timeline on a subtweet, just at them. There's no point in cowering behind a timeline or a fucking Twitter or phones, bro. Like
the thing that I always say is, if you've got an opinion and you want to put it on Twitter, you better
if you want to share it, then share it.
You better be ready to defend that opinion. Like, if you want to at someone in that opinion, go for it. If you want to put it on Twitter publicly, you should be criticized for it. And if you want to at someone, if you want to at them, do it. Great. It means they can respond. It means you can actually have a discussion about why you think your opinion is different. And it means that everyone can grow. Because if you give a discussion rather than an argument, people know where they're going wrong. People can work on it. People can take your advice. All that kind of shit. If you're just doing it where you're just straight up slamming into people for absolutely no fucking reason, and you're just subtweeting on time when people aren't sure if it's about them, how are they ever supposed to improve? How is that ever constructive? You are just being a cunt for being cunt's sake at that point.
That's my point. It's like, if you want to have it out with someone, take that to the DMs, right? If you want to pure argue with them, because that's just pointless. No one gives a fuck about that. Well, we do, actually, because it's funny to report on. But, like, if you have an opinion and you think that you can give someone some, like, criticism or some sort of help in any form of way on your opinion, why it's like that. For example, okay, I tweet socially as shit. Their graphics are awful. They can at me for that. And then,
Paulie.
My guy, bro. Moxie, welcome.
Gifting more subs, but I don't even think he subbed himself.
He ain't even subbed himself, but here he is gifting. The hero does not wear capes. Power gift me sub, lad, cheers. But Moxie, welcome to the Rona Free area and BTC, Brummie Boys show. But yeah, as I was saying, it's like that then they can reply to me and be like, what the fuck? I can say, listen, I just think it would be better. Where's from my pen? I just think it would be better if you could change the graphics, maybe try something else, a different color scheme. I don't think the font works with it. Because then that's a person's take on why you think it's bad. But if I tweet like, oh, your socially, your graphics are shit, they're awful. They say, why? Saying, they're just fucking bad, bro. They're just so bad. Like, that's not helping. That's a pointless opinion and subtweet.
Well, it's like whatever as soon as you give an opinion, as soon as you give an opinion without backing it up with any kind of reason behind it, you immediately lose. Like if one of the worst things is if I say this, right? If I say something to like Mez and I say, Mez, I think you're casting shit. I think you're a shit caster. Well, why's that? Just think you're fucking awful. Well, what sort of opinion is that? Like, you can think he's awful, but what reason are you basing that on? Like, what's your reason for thinking that Mez is a terrible caster? You know what I'm saying? Like, you've got to have a reason to kind of formulate an opinion. So share your reason, share your opinion, and then actually allow people to construct on that. Like, maybe I say, Mez, I don't like the way you cast because, let's say that you're always too hype. Sometimes things don't have peaks and troughs. You don't build up or something like that. Like that kind of thing. That's good criticism. That's a way that Mez can work on. Maybe he's right. Maybe he sees that in his own VODs, etc. But, anything else like that. If you got an opinion like that, like we're saying with the COD Pod, like these guys were pretty directionless. They don't really know. They didn't really seem to know exactly what they wanted to do with the show. They created a concept called Behind the Barrel, which was cool. But then again, when the first episode came out, they didn't really structure it all that well. So there's plenty of ways that they can kind of get around it. There's plenty of ways that they can work with it. I think that the project isn't dead by any means. I don't know what Aaron's doing these days because of his kid. But I definitely think Stano's got the ability to do something with it. I definitely think that there's a way they can work with it together. And I think that those two at least can make a good show out of it like we do with the Brummie Boys. But if they want to have guests on, they need to be prepared to actually get questions down rather than topics to kind of loosely structure a show around. If your show is going to be about questions and finding out about the individual guests, then the 1v1, for example, with Brody is a really good example of that. He writes out questions that he wants to ask people and then goes on those topics rather than, like, just creating a general topic and just putting it out there for everyone to discuss. Like, actually ask questions. That's probably the way that is.
I think that's why shows lose the direction. It's like, that's what the COD Pod did as well. Like, they had us talking points. So, like, for example, ours was mortar and casting. But like it just sort of went like it went in that direction. Don't get it wrong. We spoke about those topics, but then it like inside of those topics there was always different turns and stuff, and it went to always a different story. And you can never quite pick it up. And I think like Stano would have to say sometimes on air, like, oh, okay, we're a bit off topic now, so we'll get back on topic. Like, it's good that they're noticing, and it's good that.
But like, if they're noticing it, they shouldn't be like letting themselves get back on that case, Stano isn't interested. Fuck that, man. What?
Interested in what?
In casting or doing anything with the show? Mad.
No way. I thought he created it with you.
He did. Corin, man. Do it yourself, Corin, mate.
Corin, you got that. I proposed it to him again and he said no pretty much. What the fuck?
Do it yourself, mate.
No, you've got that Manchester voice, bro. Get your ginger nut on that camera, brother.
Who needs Stano? Who needs fucking Stano?
I'm quite surprised at that, to be honest. I didn't think that because like, out of the blue, Stano wanted to do this. He wanted to do casting. He wanted to get into show hosting, etc.
Then all of that's just gone. Is he finding success with streaming or?
Yeah, I don't get that because I know he's been streaming a lot lately.
I mean, fair play to the grind, by the way, on that one.
Yeah. All in all, though, that helps his talking points and confidence any further.
Helps his brand, doesn't
it?
Like, if I could be bothered to stream all the time or had the patience to stream all the time and not say stupid shit, then I would. But I know I'd say stupid shit.
Yeah, 100%. That's not 100%. Speaking of kids, ego to unis is taken away. I mean, we're not going to talk on that.
I'm not even bothered.
Yeah,
I don't care about that kid.
Irrelevant. That's not 100% true. What's not 100% true that he said no, or that streaming can't help your talking points and confidence?
I don't know. Jamie, content manager for Team Revenge now. He knows everything there is to know.
And Jamie,
like COD. Well, they can talk about esports. This isn't really a COD related show. We just talk about the AMC.
I mean, yeah, this is just esports. Like,
we're going to talk about some CS later.
Oh, okay. I mean, it's fair. COD. Like, okay, that makes. But why don't you just change it then?
Just rebrand. Like it was a good thing for you guys to be doing. I don't know why that you thought it wasn't good to carry. I don't know why Stano thinks it's not good to carry on.
You had a pretty good core friendship. It worked. You got good guests on.
Well, to an extent.
I mean, you had me on it. He's not saying he's giving up on show hosts and shit, but we respect his grind, so not much we can do. He's not saying he's giving up on show hosts and shit.
Then why is he not wanting to? Why is he not even wanting to bother with hosting the COD Pod then? What's the play? So does he want to carry on casting? Because I haven't seen him making any moves in the scene to try and cast. Like I speak to.
He just said he doesn't like COD, so he can't.
Well, I speak to Saul at Val and I speak to Ruben at EEG, and neither of those two have heard from him really outside of the time that they got him to cast for Val one time.
Another great example of backing your point, by the way, I just thought of it on the timeline, is someone said it was Brody when he put the tweet about orgs and money and sending teams, etc. He backed his point up to the max with about 4 different org owners that went at him. That's an example of if you're going to put it on the timeline, be prepared to defend your point. And he did defend his point, whether some people think is wrong, some people think is right. He still defended his point. Like, just if you don't just at people if you're going to tweet. What a haircut. Great HNK, mate. Honestly, brilliant, mate. What an org.
Oh, fucking hell. All right.
What an org.
What an org.
Right. All right, Ados. I ain't even going to call you, bro. All right, Ados. But just remember when you need me as a bodyguard at your next event, yeah, I'm making sure you get slapped, bro.
Right. Do you want to move on then? I'm done with the COD Pod now.
I know more than you, bro. I have WhatsApp of it. Oh, damn, buffers. I mean, yeah, for sure. Measure beautiful bastard. Hank. Hank, I called him Hank. Fuck. HNK, bro. Let's get it. Yeah, but we will move on to the card pod. I suppose ain't coming back.
Dead in the water, mate.
Dead in
yeah,
the
water, account
bro.
fucking tweeted at us when we made this tweet.
Do you know what I mean?
What the fuck's going on? Is it dead? Is it not? What is it? Jesus of Nazareth. It's been 3 weeks. It's been 3 months since they made a show, and now it's Easter weekend. They're rising from the dead, coming out the cave. The COD pod's back. Another show. Mental.
You ever had inside info and really want to say shit, but you're getting in trouble? I think that you should.
Legitimately today, right this moment.
I think you should say it.
Oh, I don't think I should.
No, I'm about Moxie.
Oh, right. Moxie, yeah, go
Definitely not you.
I'm a bit like what we're talking about.
What are you talking about? Tenacious. I'm pretty sure you're Fallen God's owner, aren't you? Am I right in saying that, bro? Fallen God's owner?
I don't know. Anyway, let's move on.
Talking of orgs.
Orgs, what are we going for first? Which one of the many org tweets we got to talk about today?
Outpride closing the doors. Can't say it's a big loss. I've never really heard of them.
Can't sound surprised.
Connor, I'll tell you, but keep it low key. Okay, I definitely won't say it on the show. No, I won't. I promise I won't. I promise I won't. But give me a scoop. I like some scoop. But yeah,
Outpride.
Outpride. Outpride. What is Outpride? Shit.
Never even heard of the organisation, for one. I don't know what they've been in. Like
2014.
They've closed.
I've never casted them.
Yeah, I've never cast them either. They've closed their doors. They've done 2 24-hour charity streams, from what I could gather from the tweet. And again, I'm not really that bothered.
I'm just going through their tweets now. Like,
it's just more of the same thing, really. Like we mentioned this a couple of weeks ago, is that what's going to start happening here with esports orgs, as soon as the things are starting to fall off for what they can invest in, they're not self-sufficient organizations. They don't have sponsorships rolling in to keep themselves financially propped up. So with the coronavirus and with everything taking money out of people's pockets, I don't really think there's a reasonable way that a lot of these esports organizations that are ran from the bedroom, not even registered on Companies House with any share prices, are going to be able to stay open. People realize at some point in time that they need the money for more important things, like actually staying fucking live. So I think this is going to be another casualty in a long line.
Just literally done what we spoke about.
What?
Why?
What's he done?
Just put in the chat. All I can say is there are some weird org owners out there. Bro, just at them!
At the fucking bitches.
At them!
Who is the weird org owner?
Nah, Nick Friel, it's career-ending stuff. No joke. Is it that bad, though? I have people's word to not say anything but teasing.
Oh, hold on. There's a lot of shit that's gone into chat since I last looked at it.
I mean, yo, listen, I think you should just fuck around and say it, honestly. Like,
at them? Yeah, Nick knows, man. Just at them.
If you're telling him in DMs, yeah, you might as well just at it.
If you're going to come into a fucking Twitch chat and put it in Twitch chat, why are you even tweeting it? If you can't talk about it, why are you even tweeting it?
Come on. I know an organer who used to play Egos to I'm not going to read that out loud.
Iron Chain K is putting messages in Twitch chat acting like that wasn't him.
Was it?
Oh, I see it already in there. I already got the same response. Unreal.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
We all know it was Reese. We all know it.
It's fair. Lethals, with your cut, it probably could be you. You know what? I ain't going to talk about it, Trims. I'm sorry, bro.
You just know that you're at risk if you get.
I'm not in a good position to roast about that. So fair play, fair play.
Fair play. Kid's nasty. Fair play. Right, nah, yeah, but listen, I'm not asked about our pride ending, mate. I'm not asked about our pride ending at all. I think it's just another one in a long line of esports organisations that are going to close soon. I don't think this is not going to be the first. It's also not going to be the last. Everyone from our pride will probably move on. You won't hear about them for a while, but they'll move on to another project. There's going to be more orgs that are going to close tomorrow, day after, the day after.
Mox has actually done what we said. Fair play. I'll say something. I do not like social market. I'll tell him up front and deconstruct why enough said.
Is this come from being Brummie Boys to the fucking esports confessional? Like, is everyone just confessing?
This is Jeremy Kyle, bro.
Name a couple. Name a couple of orbs that I think will close.
That's what we're doing at the end, I think. That was his Q&A to us on Twitter.
Let me go on my timeline and have a look briefly. What orgs do I think are going to close?
ADOS will close.
No, it won't. Got too much investment.
Nah, I'm joking.
Socially will probably keep staying alive for now.
Social will stay alive. ADOS will stay alive. To be fair, I don't know who the
fuck is left anymore at this point.
Yeah, like who's left? Like I can tell you ADOS, I can tell you
Oh,
socially.
Obtained. I reckon Obtained are going to go under.
Oh, Attained all 100% stay.
No, no,
Atlas will
I
not
reckon
even
they'll go
stay.
under. You know, Obtained.
Attained, you think?
Yeah,
No, I don't think
I
so.
do.
Dano's got big money, bro, from what I know.
Does he?
Yeah,
Enough to keep him sustained through the Rona.
100%, bro.
TSU
100%.
might go under.
Ooh, true.
TSU might go
I don't
under.
know enough about them.
I don't think
Nick's
that. I
name
don't
on
think
his
there's a
list.
lot of money behind them. Put it that way.
Obtained, looking for another investor. Okay, TSU won't go under, I promise you that. Yeah, I can imagine. Okay, well, Joey just said in the chat, TSU
Yeah, well,
ain't
that's because
going
he's
nowhere.
part of TSU.
Well, he owns it, so he
Yeah,
should know if it's going.
you never know, mate. You never know.
I mean, true.
It's
He could
only
be
a matter of time until
he could be
Bojo comes.
throwing us a bone here.
Bojo comes out of ICU and he's like, right, lads, 4 weeks lockdown, no pay.
I don't think Tau will go nowhere, bro. Personally.
How? I think I don't know. Depends if they start changing shit up. I think they've kind of plateaued right now. I definitely know they've got the money behind it, but
is Social Esports Reading with Party 7? Well, Social Esports, thank you very much. Let's hope you do stay alive.
They're doing what with Party 7?
Raiding.
Oh, right. I thought they're partnering up with
I'm an
company.
accountant, easy money, lol. GG, Joey TSU staying alive, bro.
Fair enough.
As long as you ain't done with your money.
Maybe he is. Maybe he's one of those shady accountants that just swindles money out of people's pockets.
Nick, I'll admit you're good at your job, but you give up when you lose motivation instead of sticking through it. Damn!
Are we just all? Is everyone just getting confessional in chat right now? We all just,
Yo, do you know what? This is confessional Friday with the boys. Every 4 episodes we do secret confessions.
If you want to have your confessions in the chat,
bro,
by all
have
means,
your confession. You say what
confess,
you think about someone.
confess your fucking sins.
Did I raid while being ripped? No, we didn't rip you just
no,
yet.
not just yet, Jamie.
Fuck
not
me,
just
Birch,
yet.
mate.
Fuck me. What is that you call pushing media? Oh wait, you don't.
That belongs to Paul now.
Yeah.
Howard Co.
Yeah, we'll see.
Fight. And there's no fighting over here.
No
Have I missed
fighting.
anything? The only thing you've missed is, you know what? I ain't even gonna talk about your haircut. Just allow it.
Just allow it.
Bro, I'm so outmatched today, bro. It's fuck. Oh god. But anyway, yeah, with our pride closing, I mean, no disrespect to those guys. I just didn't know them. I didn't know anything about them. I don't know who there was. So I mean, to me, it's not a loss. I didn't really know there was in the scene if there was. I know casted them on cards, so it's like fair play.
Right, anyway then, our Pride Esports, no real shit's given there. Right, here's the beefy topic of the week then. The big juicy one that I've got a lot of stuff to lay into on this one is Canny. Fuck me, mate. I've got a lot of love for you.
Canny, bro, we need to talk, bro.
I've got a lot of love for you, Canny. I've got a lot of time for you, but I haven't got a lot of time for your dead-ass tweets on my timeline. Like, I'm not going to lie to you, buddy. Not sure about how much this esports stream I've got left, not gonna lie, right? Spent the last 2 years helping people achieve better things, experience new things, and got fuck all back. It's rough. Now, boy, do you want to talk about this? It is Cryosy, subtweet central. So, do you want to talk about this? Because I fucking do. Right, here, lad. Listen here, lad. We've got we've got a lot to talk about here. So, number one, esports is a shit industry. There are people in here who, maybe not inside Call of Duty, to be fair, with the franchise coming in, it's kind of cleaned up the act a little bit on some of these teams and some of these people. But I think there's a big one. No, that's not a milestone, Power. Next milestone is 100 subs. Brody does a cooking show. Oh, there we go. Wife beater's back on.
Wife beater's on, mate. It's time.
Boffus is like a high school PE teacher. Fucking move us to the point. That's the point, mate. That's the whole point. Right, so the point I'm trying to make here, anyway, is that, Canny, your tweets are ridiculous. But the point is that esports is crap. Maybe we're not with Call of Duty right now with the franchise, but esports in itself is full of greedy people who are coming into a new industry they know very little about to try and make a lot of money very quickly. And then they get bummed out that they can't make that money very quickly. People have a passion for gaming. They see esports as a way to monetize gaming. It doesn't always work. Believe me, as a piece of talent in the scene, i.e. talent not as in, like, I think I'm Europe's best caster, but I am. And not that I think I'm, you know, like a fucking god, but I am. That's all a joke, by the way, just in case anyone who wants to employ me is watching.
But he is.
but it ain't. No.
But he is, but it ain't.
Yeah, so I'm a talent in the scene, which means I actually have a way to monetize my craft. People pay me for my job. That's great. You want to be a streamer? There ain't fucking no way you're getting paid for that shit, mate. You want to be an org owner? You are not getting a lot of money out of that organization.
Looking back, I don't mean financially at all. I don't care about the money.
Well, it's not even that, Kenny. So here's the thing: esports, right, is a rat eat rat is business. If you don't eat
do you mean as well?
If you don't eat a rat in front of you, you are going to get eaten. Like, it is a rat eat rat world out here, and there is no other way to get around it. Everybody in esports is ultimately out for themselves, or at very least a small group of people. And we know this better than anybody. Myself and Mez have been fucked over many times behind the scenes, and we don't talk about it because the reason being is the more you say, the less jobs you get. So we talk about this kind of thing all over the place. So here's the issue here, is that whilst I understand that you think you're being fucked over, Kenny, the hard reality of things is that when you put yourself in the position that you're in as a manager or as someone in this ND previously of peak, you are always going to wind up being the one who gets walked over. And that is a fact. You are never, ever going to be the one that gets the plaudits. You are the man who's going to be behind the scenes at all times, doing the journeyman work, carrying the pails of milk for everybody else to claim the glory for. Believe me, I know what it's like. I know exactly what it's like. All that kind of shit has happened to all of us, at least me and Connor at some point. It happens like that all the time. Now, with regards, I saw the thing about you saying that you don't feel like you got a lot left of esports dream. Fuck me, esports is draining. Esports is horrendous. There's so much in esports because it is a bit of a cowboy market right now. People go over everything. Now, this is not about Canny now. This is a wider point that I'm making here, and Connor can go back to Canny if he wants to, and I'll give him a chance to talk. But my little sermon on the mount here is that esports is a 24/7 industry. You have to be on it all the time. You have to be constantly ready to accept and swallow bullshit because there is a lot of it, and you have to be ready to kind of give up a lot of things in order to make esports successful. Because the reason being is it's not a particularly well-developed industry right now. There's not a great deal of infrastructure in terms of jobs and all that kind of thing. It's not like an events industry where you run an event and that's where your income comes from. The income in esports is not very good. It's sporadic, where there's no consistent cash flow, and therefore the industry in itself can be volatile at times. There's a great article on this by Cecilia de Anastasio about the fact that esports is a bubble. I strongly recommend you go and watch it. I believe it's on Polygon, the website, if you want to go and read it. So I strongly recommend that you go and check that out. But by all accounts, esports in itself is a bit of a whack clown fiesta. So I completely understand the idea of thinking that the dream's going to be given up because you've been at this for years, only not really getting anywhere. I feel the same way with casting. I've been at casting now for nearly 4 years overall, and I'm still casting fucking EEG League. I know the vibe, but sometimes good things take time.
So I spoke about on the BTC show last week about giving up and people giving up on their stuff and dreams. Like, you can be that at that level for about, as George has been for 3 years, right? George can turn around and give up tomorrow, and that tomorrow can be that. Do you know what I mean? That can elevate that much in just that short period of time, in that much. Like, that's how it works. That's how it will always work. It's like the whole fact that giving up on your dreams and shit. I feel like a lot of people are lately, the all closures, people going, people coming back, people not really sure what to do. Great example of this is Cryossi. He left because he was bored of everything. He used to do production for me for EG, for pushing media. I mean, we used to work close hand in hand with every show that I've done. Obviously, we don't now. I do it all myself, or obviously I've got buffers or Brody to help me out when I've needed it. But a great example of that is he didn't know what to do. He left. Now he's come back. He's got himself in a decent position. If he's happy where he is, I ain't sure. And shit like that. Things with Peak ended at the wrong time. We were literally at our peak. We just secured our first sponsorship and then bang out of nowhere, just rough right now. Yeah, 100%. And that's just how things go.
Yeah, the way the cookie crumbles is that shit things happen at the worst times. For me, all the worst things in my life all happen within the space of about the same 2 months of each other. And it's always February or March every single year. So we've only just got out of that shit spot for me right now. Like, for example, my operation I had on my lung happened in February. My lung collapsed, I couldn't get a candor, and ended a 2-year-long relationship in February and March, all the same year. So it's like, the same shit happens all the time. All the worst things happen at the best times for you. When you don't want anything to go wrong is exactly when things are going to go wrong. And it is just the way that things are. Sadly, life is not a consistent dream. We don't all live a dream life. Esports is far from a dream life. As much as people might try and make out to you like it, everything's sunshine and rainbows all the time, that is just, again, the fact that esports is a very social media heavy place, a very social media heavy industry. And in all fairness, things aren't always sunshines and rainbows. There's things that happen that piss you off. There's things that happen that beat you down. There's things that happen that make you not want to continue fighting for your dream. And by no means do I think you should give it up. By no means, Canny, do I think that you should give up on the esports dream just because there's someone out there who's trying to fuck you over. If you are strong enough, if you are meant to be in this industry, you will beat him. You will beat whoever's trying to fuck you over. You will actually come back on up, and you will start to win. And of course, Brick, we don't have drops enabled for Valorant, but we do have drops for free coronavirus medication. So if you sub using Twitch Prime, that's where you get your drop.
You're cured from coronavirus, basically. The whole Brummie Boys episode, if you stream in that time of period, you will be cured. You will be immune. You will not be catching it, so you'll be A-okay.
Yeah.
But I mean, yeah, Canny.
Boris didn't sub, so therefore he got it.
Yeah, Boris didn't sub, he got it, so it's his own fault. He was in the stream as well, I can confirm. Yeah, but as George said, Canny, man, like, it's a dog-eat-dog world, bro. Like, everybody, as we've been all owners as well, we know how that shit goes. But even to cast,
Canny, bro.
Is. Thank you, brother. Thank you. You now no longer have coronavirus. Actually, you do, because Crazy got it, not you. But you are a sub, so therefore,
you're fine, mate. You're fine.
You are fine. Well done, bro. You're happy.
I feel like half the orgs that close are people that overlook the financial investment need to run an org in the start. Absolutely. I completely agree with that. People come into the esports industry and think that they can just get away with putting in no money and making a shit ton back. I'm afraid...
It is 20. It is 30. Sign a league.
Esports is a fucking casino. And most of the time, it's rigged against you. And that's just the way it is, I'm afraid.
And people always bet on fucking red, bro.
No, people are always betting on green. That's how mental this thing is. People
that's a good one.
People don't bet on red or black. They bet on fucking green constantly. That is the way that esports runs, boys. Like, people come into the esports scene with a dream and they go for a crazy long shot. That is the reason why barely anyone thinks that it, barely anyone thinks that they can come straight back in. I think you hit a brick wall financially.
100% you do. At one point or a time in your org, you definitely will.
It's less about money and more people running out of ideas. Yeah. Well, that's the thing as well, is there's no originality. So when you put in money into stuff, you're eventually just throwing money at something that's never going to take off anyway because it's been done a million times by somebody else better than what you're currently doing it as.
Which brings us on to you next, HNK, after this is
There's a situation where we had 6 teams attending.
Look at...
It's just not sustainable.
See, but that's the point. Why would you send 6 teams? Why would you possibly send 6 teams?
To be fair, it's just a question of expanding your roster, isn't it? Like, that's just the thing that esports orgs do. I think the thing is, esports orgs think they think it's literally the wild fucking west. Like they can just, there's no rules, regulations, whatever. There is a reason why people went for the fucking FDC and all these kind of fraud investigation units about, probably 4 or 5 years ago now, when CSGO Lotto and all that shit happened. There's a reason the FDC started to get involved in that point, and that Valve had to stop the illicit gambling of underage because of the fact that the cases were considered gambling at that point. Esports in itself, whilst it has casinos within esports, literal casinos, esports is a metaphorical casino where everyone's betting on green.
Yeah, but back to my point earlier, Canny, as I said, me and George can comfortably talk about this as all going as to what he said and what he touched up on about. You will never be commended for the good shit you do, right? You can pull off a fantastic org, you can pull it off all great. At the end of the day, unless you're Hex Nade Shot or already have an established name, or you make no single fuck ups whatsoever in your org, you won't be commended whatsoever. The moment, however, you fuck up, you will be rinsed and put down by this community, by the fucking whoever, because that's the community that we're in.
It's a cancel culture, mate. Everyone wants to cancel everyone.
100%. And another reason why we do this show is so people can actually talk their facts and opinions instead of being like, do you know what? Okay, socially, you fucked up. Peak, you fucked up. University, you fucked up. ADOS, you fucked up. Instead of just being like that, bro, we give you reasons. We don't come on this show and talk about a point without having our reasons and our opinions. You then have your chance to voice these opinions back to us, and we have a little small debate about it. And that's just how it is, and that's how it should be on the timeline, but it's not. And that's not how the world works as well, bro. So as soon as you fuck up, that's what you'll be remembered for, not for the fact that you do great things. I can talk about it myself, and future George can avoid, and we even can as casters as well. We can pull off 5 great casts in a row, all in a day. The moment we get one graphic wrong, one COD team wrong, one name wrong in stream, best believe that stream lets us fucking know that we got it wrong.
Yeah, and we don't hear anything for the 5 immaculate casts we did before. It's just the way it is. People set you to a standard, and when you hit that standard and you get the props eventually, you never hear them after. And it's only when new people start to come around that they recognise that's the case. But then your reputation precedes you and people expect things of you. And that's just the way it is. I have an opinion on something. We Vicious messed up with the Clash Royale, blah, blah, blah. Don't care. Not interested.
Yes, they had one of the best teams in the world, but they were reportedly, as I was told by a former owner, pouring €300 a month into it. That seems shit. It's a massive money pit, and I've no problem. I mean, listen, I don't care about Clash Royale, bro.
Oh, shit.
I can't sit there and watch it. I can't, what you done, bro? Oh. I can't sit there and watch Clash Royale. I can't. It doesn't take an interest in me. I don't think the game doesn't take an interest in me. The fact it's an esports is beyond my mind.
Yeah, it's mental. Anyway, moving on.
I couldn't sit there and watch an esports. Big congrats on BTC, pals. Appreciate that, bro.
Thanks, dude.
All gunners are nearly always in the shadows unless they are personally from some form of content.
Yeah,
but that's the point. That's where all gunners need to be different, bro. You can't just be the same person. Everybody wants to be a Hex. Everyone wants to be a Nature. But everybody still does Twitter giveaways. Everybody still does the same stuff. Everybody still tweets the same. Nobody does nothing different. And the only people I would actually commend on doing something different right now is ADOS, and that's it.
And we'll speak about that now. Their new announcement that they've just put out is again being teased with a stupid little thing, a good little meme. Caroline Flack, wrong person. That's very different. Wow, Rachel Riley, not Caroline Flack. Caroline Flack's dead. It. Anyway, they've actually just announced 39 minutes ago the new addition to their content team. The first person who's actually been put into the content team, which is Jaffa. They again put that out in a little bit of an anagram tweet with a countdown style meme. Again, well executed, well done. All the praise still going to ADOS on the way they keep their announcements coming fresh, exciting, and generally just better than anyone else is currently doing in the scene at the moment. ADOS in themselves are having a really good run of things. They're keeping their announcements well spaced. As much as I want them to keep announcing things to keep the account fresh, I think people generally forget about them and then they're reminded of them briefly when they come back into the limelight. I think this is a really cool way to do an announcement. I think it's fresh, it's innovative. I think the way they can keep doing this thing and keep pushing it on, gaining audience interaction and impressions by getting people to come back to them by answering their questions is even better. And whilst I haven't got any comment on the content creator they picked up, I do have comment on the way they're doing their announcements, which is, in my opinion, really fucking good.
Yeah, I've not seen anybody since stepping into this scene at all, apart from the higher ups, like the pros that don't do announcements like that. Like, I was crying to it myself, bro. I'm out of breath. Yo, I'm getting fat, bro. Fuck me. Like, I was crying to it myself. Like, little announcement, little tweet, like in their home flag, their names, done and dusted.
Yeah, nothing innovative.
Yeah, the way you're doing it is incredible. Like, I'm just gonna put it up again right now. Like, even your first one, right? We refer back to it. We spoke about it. Of course, we gave you applaud. It's not going to gas you too much. Your Tinder profiles, brilliant, spot on, amazing. Then again, now you come through with the countdown edition. Once again, out of the box creation, amazing. And even the announcement video, I've not watched, but I'm watching it now. It's basically just a little Twitter clip video announcement thing. But still, not a lot of people are still doing that. And now, Tenacious, what you just put in the chat, not going to lie, I was looking at ADOS like, shit, I wish I thought of this. Sometimes it's hard to come with something fresh when you're constantly thinking of someone else's behind the scenes, no one sees. I'm a massive victim to that. But see, the thing right there is, instead of sitting there and thinking, bro, you can sit there and think, could this be good? Could this be bad?
Just sit there and act. Just shoot the shot, you know?
Just do it. What does it matter? Like, it can either bang or it can either flop.
Everybody in esports is just, like we mentioned, constantly betting on green. So what is it the risk of you shooting your shot to put it on green? Like, you might as well. If everyone else is doing it, you might as well.
Go on.
Sometimes things fall short is all I was going to say.
100%. Like, everybody does the same stuff, bro. Everyone tweets the same. Everyone does Twitter giveaways. Like, it's just the same stuff. Like, do something different. Do something out of the box. Think outside the box. Don't be the next University or Peak. That's no offense to those guys, but I'm just saying in a row of rosters, like, don't be the next future.
There's a long line of people over the course of the years who have done everything the exact same.
100%.
I think one person does it, everyone sees it successful, and everyone wants to copy it. That's just the way that it is.
I couldn't think of nothing different to do with future. Now I'm seeing everything come about. I have a million ideas in my head that an orc could take happily for a price. No, I'm joking. That they could take from me happily. But like, now I sit there and think, when I was back there, when I had future, I was just another University. I was just another Wee Vicious, another Peak. Like, I was those guys, bro. I was just doing the same tweets, the same Twitter shit, keeping the same stream team, keeping The
Just
same
keeping it
process.
ticking over, aren't you? Really?
It's literally the process. It is a vicious cycle of how AMs organizations work.
I
And the
think they
person
think what they've got to do in order to become successful is check a checklist, and the checklist is:
100%.
have you got a stream team, you got graphics, you got announcement tweets, you got a COD team, you got a CS team, and then you start going into more like optional things like, oh, can we look at like a Rocket League team now or something like that, or can we look at a different esport? Who fucking cares at that point, mate? Like, you've got to basically just run it up as stop treating esports organizations like they're a checklist. Like there's a number of things like achievements that you have to unlock in order to get to the next follow account. All you have to do is just be creative, be different, show something else. You don't even have to pick up a fucking COD team. You can do what these guys ADOS have done. They're doing great announcements for content creators. They haven't even got a team announced yet for an esports organization. Mental.
We'll 100% have an idea that flops in but what does it matter? Because you're still
Yeah.
trying it. You're testing the waters. You're doing something that no one else is doing.
You're treading the waters, man. This is uncharted territory.
No one can comment on what you're doing when nobody else is doing it. But everybody's so quick to do a simple graphic, bit of smoke behind them, announcement, welcome, blah blah, done, dusted. Because that's what everybody does, and it's just a way of the cycle of IM orgs. I overheard a birdie say Weed Vicious is closing. That shit closed ages ago. I don't care what no one says.
Yeah, it's been done forever.
That ended in Black Ops 4, bro. I didn't see a single tweet on them in my timeline. It's Black Ops 4.
Don't think I heard anything about it. Right, anyway, moving on. I guess we've only got like one more topic really, which is Climate's tweet about the NHS last night, which I don't really remember seeing.
But fucking hell. It's in your DMs if you want to put it up on screen. I screenshotted you the photo.
I'll just read it out.
I have his counterpoint in my DM, so this isn't a hot topic where we're just going to bash him. We are going to read out his point, and we're going to get your guys' thoughts on it, and we're going to share ours as well.
No, this isn't really an esports opinion, boys. Let's just get this out of the way first. We're not talking about this because it's an esports opinion. We're talking about it because it's someone who's in our scene who's made a bit of a shit take, or in our opinion, a bit of a shit take. Now, Connor came to me last night saying this was a bit ridiculous. So, Climate tweeted out, anyone else think that clapping for NHS has to be the most hypocritical and stupid up your own arse thing? Because same. I think that was later deleted, and he kind of then went on to say, if you want to know the reason why, I won't put it on Twitter, but here's my reason. So, I don't know about this one. Personally, I think clapping for the NHS is just fine. Like, I don't think there's an issue with it. Like, fair play. Everyone who is doing the work for the NHS at the moment is an absolute hero, true fucking warrior, deserves the plaudits, deserves all the work that they can get. There's all of the kind of respect and privileges that they can get, because right now they're the heroes of our society. I don't know what's hypocritical about saying that. Anyway, Mez,
I will read out his point. I told him I will. As I said, we're not just going to go out in for this tweet. I don't agree with the tweet, and I'll give my views on it after. But I ain't fully read his point anyway, so we'll hear it all together. So I messaged him and I said, "What's the point?" He said, "So the first time, I think it was nice and it showed respect and appreciation, etc. But doing it every week, the numbers of clapping has gone up, and the whole thing just seems to be more about feeling good about yourself, like feeling solidarity. I don't know how to say that word.
Solidarity. Yeah.
And acceptance, kind of like a social thing, which is good during this time as it helps people stay sane. But it's missing the reason what they made it happen in the first place. Yes, I'm sure for a lot it still is about the NHS." And they think they're doing a great thing. I respect it. But like I said, numbers gone up and it seems it's turned into more of a thing for the people, local community, rather than NHS. Once this is over, it's just going to go back to NHS being disrespected and not valued. You know what I mean?
Okay, so here's my counterpoint.
I don't know what you mean.
Here's my counterpoint. Why is that hypocritical?
Yeah.
Why is that up your own arse? Why are they those two? Okay, the stupid thing, you've backed up the stupid thing there, but why is that hypocritical? Why is that hypocritical?
Is about being up your own arse is that people are now doing it for themselves as a community.
Well, I don't want to be that guy who points out the obvious, but NHS workers don't all live in the same fucking area of the UK. They're not like in a ghetto or something, boys. They live amongst you. They are regular people. So they live in your community. So they're not doing it for themselves in their community. They're doing it for the NHS workers who live in their community. I've got a couple who live on my fucking street. Blessed, innit? They're fucking crying when they hear that shit. My friend who works for the NHS sent me a Snapchat last night while everyone was clapping outside of her weeping at the window because she thought it was touching that they were actually clapping for her and respecting her work. Like, you know, that's what I'm saying here, right? So the issue that I take with this tweet is that I don't see how it's hypocritical. I think the essence of it is the same, otherwise people wouldn't do it. I don't think that but my parents aren't going to go and sit on their doorstep right now and go and clap for a minute and a half just to feel good about themselves, because they can do that any time. They don't need to do it at 8 o'clock on a Thursday.
Yeah.
Don't need a reason
Like,
to clap, do they?
his point he made after was the tweet doesn't do justice for what was meant. I'm bad at tweeting, but glad you's gonna debate it. Like, of course, I'm gonna. Do you clap for pilots? Are you ridiculously stupid in the brain, bro? Like, come on,
Isaac, you
come
fucking
on.
mongy.
Like, I'm actually done with this, bro. And back to climate's point. Quite educated, thank you very much. I know it's controversial. Yeah, that's exactly what we're talking about. We're not bashing you. It's just a debate and it's controversial, so we're talking about it. My point to you would be there's not been a threat like this where the NHS have had to put their lives on the line to deal with this. For example, pilots, for that comment, they fly a plane, bro. Like, they're not dealing with coronavirus. They're not dealing with a worldwide global fucking threat, which means say in 10 years' time, this one's back around, right? You've got a daughter that is a nurse or whatever, and they have to go into NHS and work and put their life on the line, getting coronavirus, bringing it home, giving it all to you. Like, she's putting her life on the fucking line, bro, to try and save everybody else in the world, to try and save people that don't deserve this virus. So, like, your point to it being stupid is irrelevant.
I understand his rationale for saying it's stupid. I don't understand the rationale for saying it's up your ass and hypocritical. Also, Jamie, a fat fuck you to the chat right now. For you specifically, Jamie, for saying you're thick. You just insulted him for no fucking reason. Like, the man has given an opinion. Whether you agree with it or not is no reason to say whether he's thick or not. If you're going to call him thick, you need to back that up with some kind of rationale that counteracts his point, not him as a person. We're discussing his point here. We're not discussing whether climate's a cunt or not. We're discussing his point. Alright? Mm-hmm. We're not discussing whether climate's a knob. We're not discussing whether he's thick. We're not discussing whether he's a nice bloke or not. We're not discussing whether he donates to charity. We're discussing what he said about the NHS, and we're not discussing whether he's thick or not, right? Calm the fuck down here.
Nothing to do with his brain. It's just his opinion on how he thinks. But that's what we were just discussing. Yeah, for me personally, I mean, I don't get it. Like, for me,
I know that people think that's their job, but you can't walk into a hospital and appreciate them. So the clap is just a way to show appreciation when you can't find another way. See, I agree with that. And I think the thing is that whenever someone is doing a job which is risky, in which that they need to put their life on the line, so any kind of first responder, emergency services, or anything like that, especially the fire brigade or people who are currently working in the time of a global pandemic, really do deserve to have themselves some respect put on their name.
The easy way to end your point, climate, is as simple as this. If you had a wife or daughter that was working for the NHS,
or even a husband, let's not discriminate,
would you go outside and clap? Because I bet you would. Because I bet you would.
Would you say to your relative, if they work for the NHS, would you go to them and say, I think that the people clapping for you is quite frankly hypocritical, stupid, and up their own arse?
Would you say that to your partner? Or to your...
Just whoever it is. Whoever it is.
Whoever your son. Like...
It brings. This is the thing, right? So currently we're living in a time of like
social media is a big thing. Everybody's seeing.
Now this is the shit as well. Actually, I've got to make a point here: is that people are saying that Boris is a butcher and all kinds of shit. Like, mate, this is the right. As much as I have your takes on Boris, have your takes on. I don't want to get political, but have your takes on whoever in the political spectrum right now. You want to have a take at Corbyn, you want to have a take at Boris, you want to have a take at fucking Theresa May, David Cameron, whoever the fuck. I don't give a shit, right? You want to talk about any of these people, but right now the number one priority is getting through this. I'm sure that during the war in 1940s England, that people weren't going to be like, fucking Churchill's a right knobber, isn't he? They were just concerned about staying the fuck alive. Like, why are we not in survival mode here? We're all being locked in our houses. Why are we not on lock? Why are we not in survival mode? Why are we thinking it's appropriate to just criticize everyone at all times? Like, I understand the point about camaraderie here. This is exactly what we need in this country at the moment. The reason I say that is because we're always so at odds with each other. The esports scene in itself, this is like not even 1% of the national population is within esports, and yet the entirety of the scene is constantly at odds with each other. So can we not just have a 3-week period where we're actually in some kind of form of unity to fight against something which is not only just doesn't discriminate on the basis of gender, doesn't discriminate on the basis of sex, doesn't discriminate on race, how old you are, whatever. If you get the coronavirus, you get the coronavirus. It doesn't discriminate on you at all. It does not care who you are. It doesn't care where you're from. It doesn't care about your background. All it gives a shit about is getting inside your system and living for itself. So can we unify as a fucking race of humans who live on this planet to actually go back against this, for Christ's sake? I don't think there's anything wrong with showing a bit of camaraderie in a time like this.
Back to your point, climate, to what you put in the chat. I know.
Okay, here's the point. Now, this is what I thought it was actually. This is
his first bit as well. I want to read his first bit out as well before we get into that. I know a few people working for NHS, and they share my opinion. It's where I got the opinion from too.
Because a majority of people clapping voted Conservative, and most moan and shit on the NHS doctors, nurses, all the time. But as soon as we really need them, they clap and shit. So
okay, that's understandable.
That's understandable. Okay, your reason for saying that it's hypocritical is because they voted for the Conservative Party. Now, I'm not going to get into the politics behind that. Whilst I'm a centrist, and I ultimately think that government is a little bit ineffective at times and really needs to be rethought as a system anyway, and we need to just kind of start fresh. That's my take on things. So you know that I'm literally not on either side here. I don't care about Labour. I don't care about Conservative. I am straight bang in the middle on my policy. I just go for whichever side I think is better at the time.
I don't even vote, bro. I'm not into that.
I literally wasted my vote this last election by voting Green. So, like, because I thought that either party, I didn't think either party was worth voting for this time around. I thought they were both frankly they were both terrible this time around. So, of course, Mikey's right. Mikey's right. I understand Mikey's point here, but my other point here about the people voting Conservative, right, is the thing here about, right, so. Just because the Conservative Manifesto didn't lay out as many plans here as Labour did about having a plan for the NHS, it just shows that different parties prioritise different things. And also, at that point in time when the election rolled around in 2019, people were not concerned about a global pandemic. No one saw this coming. People were quite content with the NHS. They knew it was a problem, but it wasn't the biggest pressing problem that we had at the time. Now, I think after we get through this pandemic, there is going to be a serious shift in the global in the national paradigm of what we focus on in politics. And I think those politics are going to be more centric around nationalised healthcare and things that can generally help us combat this kind of problem again in the future. We've had pandemics before. We've had SARS. We've had all this kind of thing, but none were as bad as this since Spanish flu. Nothing was as bad as this. So just to wrap my side of this point up, I don't necessarily think that we should be criticising people clapping for the NHS now, because the current global climate is extremely different to what it was when when the people who you're criticising for being hypocritical voted for the Conservative Party. I think maybe now, knowing what they know, maybe if this global pandemic and that election happened after the global pandemic, we'd be looking at this going, maybe it would be a landslide in favour of Labour because they had a better NHS supporting policy.
Yeah, just to back Climax's point there in the chat, I thought it was obvious, my bad. I will read out what he said to me in the DMs once again. The tweet doesn't do justice for what was meant. I'm bad at tweeting, but I'm glad you are going to debate it. So he's already acknowledged that obviously the tweet he put out it looked very bad. But to go for your point now, yeah, I know that, and that's why my initial reasoning, I said there are some who are genuine about what they're doing, and they're doing more than just clapping. Like I said, I'm shit tweeting, so completely agree. And back to your old point, Climate, I will actually back you on that point when you said, because the majority of the people clapping voted Conservative, and most moan and shit on NHS doctors and nurses, etc. all the time. I will hold my hands up and say I've been a person to moan on doctors and nurses.
I think everybody does. I mean, myself, I would myself not be in a position that I am today, as healthy as I am,
if you didn't wreck.
If it wasn't, no, not even that. If it wasn't for the NHS, I had a life-changing operation on my lung. So to be able to make me go to different countries, to be able to actually let me to fly to Malta and stuff like that, would you believe?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I have had these operations courtesy of the NHS, and I can't lie, they've been fantastic. I hold the NHS in my political spectrum in really high regard for what I think is important.
My views are different.
But don't get me wrong, when I have been lying in a hospital bed, in agony, not getting any medication not getting any painkillers because they are too understaffed and too overworked, I've been one to moan. Everyone would moan in that situation. And I think the thing that they have to remember is the fact that people complain as a natural response to being in an uncomfortable situation because they think it's going to change it. And this is a natural human response. Believe me, I do psychology. I know, I've studied it. People complain to make themselves feel better about a position that they're in.
Yeah, bang on. Clomber, I do want to know your answer though to what I said, if you don't mind answering. I just want an honest answer. I said if that was one of your family members that you lived with who was working for NHS, would you go outside and like clap for them as people are in the street, or would you not? Just a general question. Life after this crisis, the shit will go back to normal. Nothing will change. You would think that maybe after this, people will try and improve conditions for NHS and staff, but I highly doubt they would.
I think you're wrong. I think you're wrong. I think
I
because
think it's just yet to be seen. I don't even think we can talk on it because the government works in
yeah.
mysterious ways,
I
mysterious
to be
ways.
fair, you're right. The government does work in mysterious ways, but I think
So we can't.
ultimately the government
It
is
should do though.
the reason the government exists is because it has to bend to the will of the people.
Uh-huh.
People dictate as to what government should be doing. People dictate as to what government should be thinking about, and what is important to the government. And currently, I'd imagine that after this, because it's highlighted so much during this coronavirus pandemic, that we are so understaffed in the NHS. We've had to get in so many immigrant doctors from places like Cuba. And other far abroad countries to try and deal with this crisis that we've got in the country at the moment. I think that there's so much going on that I think it's absolutely impossible to ignore the fact that the NHS at the moment is in a position where it needs to be seriously stimulated. I think for us to become a better society, we need to unanimously agree that stuff like this is really important. And I think that, in the future, that things need to change. And I think after this pandemic, there's going to be, like I mentioned before, a paradigm shift amongst the British people that says that the NHS is more important than we originally thought it was. We took it for granted for all those years. Since Honoyer and Bevan set it up in the early 1900s, people have taken it for granted consistently because people have been born into the NHS. They know nothing different. They just accept for the fact that it's there. And I think now the point is that eventually this global pandemic is going to change what people perceive about the NHS, and it's going to perceive that people realise just exactly how much it's needed. And I feel really badly for countries like the United States who are having people go into intensive care and they're having to pay hundreds of thousands in hospital bills for it.
Completely agree. And I don't think I would go outside and clap. Not the type of person to do that kind of stuff. I would do things, however. I would think so. Mum's a key worker now, and I do as much as I can to help her. See, that's fair enough
fair.
in your
That's fair.
complete own right as well,
All I think the thing about it is I don't have anybody in my family who works for the NHS. Now my family is not like a doctor or medicine kind of family, right? But for me, it's important to at least show some kind of appreciation in whatever way I can for people to do. Whilst you are in a more immediate proximity to someone who is a key worker in your family climate, you can show that appreciation in different ways. I just think the clap is just a way of showing appreciation to people, for people who might necessarily aren't in close proximity to someone, especially in a time where we can't actually go and see people who might even be key workers in our family.
Yeah, like you need to think as well, like as amongst as this coronavirus is going on, there are still things that exist like heart problems, cancer. Like it's not like
it's not just the coronavirus. It's the only thing in the UK right now.
Of hospital. It's not. There's a million other things going on as well that nurses and doctors have to deal with. And I'm gonna go back to what Newt said the other day on the EG podcast when I spoke to him. And I think this refers to this. Yes, people have rugged on doctors and nurses. And myself, in my own belief, I do believe there are some bad nurses out there, and I have my own reasons for that, but I ain't getting into that. And to what Newt said to me, obviously a man that's in the army, he said there's no such thing as bad soldiers, just bad, like managers, teachers, like what are they called?
Bad sergeants.
Yeah, that's the one. That's the word. That's the quote he used. But that goes to real life as well. Like, there's no such thing as a bad student. It's a bad teacher, unless you obviously have underlying issues like dyslexia or something that can't be helped. But it goes like there's no such thing as bad workers, bad managers. Like it's everything. It goes for everything. So I completely agree and understand where you are coming from because everybody's shit at their job. Some people are bad at their job, but some people are fantastic at their job. And I know personally a female that is doing like 16-hour shifts, fucking day in, day out to try and help this. And like,
the only reason me and Connor bring this up is because if you guys have been following the Beyond the Call gang over the course of the last couple of weeks since we've been sticking to a schedule, you'll notice that every 1K show, every Beyond the Call stream that we do together, we've been given a message at the end of the show every single time about key workers, just saying everyone to stay safe. Every show, Connor's we're preaching it from the rooftops. We think it's really important that people are staying safe at this time, and I think that it's the only reason we brought this topic up. Obviously, we spoke to Climate, so that we're going to talk about it, and I think this is an open forum for us to discuss it. As much as we're gamers and we sit inside of our homes and we might not necessarily be as affected by this as other people because we've got things to distract us, there are people out there who are being mistreated, people out there who are still having to work, people out there who are not getting the appreciation they deserve. And it all links back to that thing that Canny said earlier. People who work behind the scenes and just do their job generally get taken for granted. And sometimes it's really nice to keep these people going, to kind of give them a bit of appreciation. I know for a fact that when I do some casting and it's really good and someone slides into my DMs and says thanks for the cast, really appreciate that, it keeps you going for just that little bit longer. 100%. So you have no idea just how much these appreciation, this applause, this kind of just general love for people who are key workers actually goes a long way at the moment to really keep them going in these tough times when they really feel like they might want to give up. Anyway, I think that's the final take on it that we've got for this evening. We've had a good show, just coming up to an hour now. Or have you got something you want to talk about? What do you want to talk about?
Please tell me if there's any socially people in here, because I got a little bone to pick with you guys.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure Jamie went, but socially, I just want to know what's going on for a second. We had the take the other day on streamers. Between then and now, you've announced 2 fucking different streamers, bro.
I think it's 3, isn't it?
You have like fucking 19.
So we were talking the other week about how many streamers that you guys have under your organization, and now you've gone and got more.
Congrats on your CS team, by the way. I will give you that. CS is very good esports. I enjoy watching it. I enjoy watching Buffers cast it. So I commend you on that. I commend you getting back into it because I enjoy watching that shit. But why with the more streamers, man? Like, what the fuck? Huh? Content creators, streamers. Like, yeah, it's the same, innit? Let's be honest, man.
They're all bad. They're all part of the same thing. They're all part of the same idea.
People pick up like 20 streamers. What do they actually gain? Fuck all.
We've spoken about this before, Tenacious. I'm not going to go over that territory again.
There's no point in going back into stream teams and what we talk about. Followers, streamers are not needed. I mean, listen, right? I won't go that far and say streamers aren't needed because I think they are. Streamers are a very good way to have a face brand, but not too many. For example, I always go back to it. Buzzkill do a fantastic job of it, having people like D Treats, Juliet, Jess, like not too many streamers and not too little either. They have a face brand streamers. They can focus on so many streamers, like all the key streamers at once because they're not oversaturated, and that's a brilliant way to do it.
You need to know.
Already being announced for the merge, so something that so y'all actually had more streamers than we thought. Fuck me, bro. You lot are going wild.
I don't know. I think it's just this is going to be a topic that we're briefly going to keep our eye on over the course of the next few weeks, just exactly how the streaming and manager situation at Socially develops, because currently their roster is absolutely massive. Overall, though,
I don't know, announces, interactions, and wait, I can't hear you.
I stopped talking.
Oh, fucking hell. I thought you carried on. At the moment, announces equal interactions and clout, getting the best and then cutting the shit after. It's a win-win. I mean, it is a win-win for like the streamer, the org, but it's like you have to look at the end game. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's fine me looking at my path, but I'm trying to look over the road, bro. You get me? I'm trying to get over there. I ain't trying to get down my path. Everything is getting reviewed. I mean, in your own time, like, don't get rid of people because we're saying like, why the fuck you got so many? Like, it's your thing. Do your thing. We're just giving our view and opinion on it. Like, we just want to know why the selection of so many oversaturated streamers are coming in. Obviously, I didn't know that you had those to previously come out as well when we last spoke about it.
So the thing is, right? So just the point we're making here is that when we looked at the previous, we're just talking about Buzzkill. Connor was able to quickly rattle off a number of streamers who are under that Buzzkill organization. They are the face brand of that organization, right? When it comes to Socially, I think the thing that needs to be discovered is who are the face brand streamers of that organization? Who can they realistically say, right, these guys are the ones that we want to have under the org. Rest of you, sorry, we've enjoyed working with you, but we're going to go down a separate path here now. Maybe that's the idea. Maybe that's the path to go down.
Nick, though, while you're here, I will commend you. I will give you some praise. You are a very content man. So I've got faith in you. I do think in my opinion, you have way many streamers than you fucking should do. But you are very good at content, and the stuff you've been bringing out lately, I'm a big fan of it. So, I mean, I'm interested to see what you can do, man. But like, in my personal opinion, I think it's too much. You prosper better when you have solid people to work with, and I think you have too many. In my opinion. Honestly, some streamers entice me to follow more closer. Social had a big step after merger. Everything changed, and there is a lot of changes that need to be made. I mean, yeah, that's completely understandable. You are still dealing with a merger. You are in the transition still of all that, and you're still getting up new esports teams as well as you just announced your CS:GO. So I can respect that you have changes to make, and there are stuff that you guys are looking at. We're just shedding our light and opinion on what we've seen, as we always do on the show. But Nick, as I said, yeah, you're a good content man. You're good at content. Please don't try to bite off more than you can chew than you usually do, because that's how you fucking fuck things up, bro. Just stick to content. You're a very contented man.
Yeah, you definitely are. Anyway, I think we'll end things there. Anyone?
Q&A, bro.
Have we got any questions or not?
We did have some questions.
I think we've probably answered some of them already, haven't we?
We've missed
We
two,
already answered the what always going to go.
Okay, so to start off with, Mike, who do you see being around in 6 months' time? Who do you see nailing it in 6 months' time? Two separate ones.
It's a very general question. I'll give you. We'll nail it in 6 months' time. Be on the
We'll
call,
nail
Will.
it 100%. That's not being egotistical. I mean, it is and it isn't. But we've just got big plans, and I mean, you guys know our work grind. We bring you fucking 5 shows a week, bro. Like, we bring you 5 shows a week amongst show hosting, amongst casting. Like, we get this shit done, bro.
I don't know about esports org wise. I wouldn't want to speculate on that because it might upset a few people. But I'd probably say ADOS because they're new, will probably still be around in 6 months. Whether they stick around after that will probably be a different story. Personnel wise, I reckon you'll still be around, Mikey. Just because I think you're too good not to be around. We said that to you before. Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, if we ain't here in 6 months' time, no one will be. I've been in this business for way too long now. In some kind of capacity, I've been in esports since probably about 2012. So good times for me. I'm sick of this shit by now. I'm a bit jaded with the esports world.
Kayasi's one was, out of new organizations coming about, where do you think they will scale in comparison to the orgs we have right now? I think, yeah.
Unless they do something different. I think the fact of the matter is, at this point in time, new organizations starting up now are going to be at the worst part ever. There's too much money in it. People start up organizations with a lot more money than they do. For example, you see like different venture capitalists, different business outlets making organizations, sports teams, whatever. They're already taking all your good players out of the water, mate. All it's going to be right now is you're going to be a Twitter bedroom org with 100 or so followers. You pick up a couple of staff members and you pick up a couple of teams, and then by that point, you're done. Like you passed your sell by date already. You're expired milk. Like.
I think ADOS will make it. I think they'll kill it. They've got a very good and big team. The stuff they're doing already is fantastic. So I just hope they don't fall into the transition of doing the same old shit, man. Opinion on Revenge as a whole, please. We spoke about it earlier.
Revenge... I don't have any problems with Revenge. I've heard a few dubious stories about previous ownership, but I believe that's changed hands a good couple of times now. So I have no problems with it. I like what they're trying to do already. I think they've made some really good hiring decisions, and if Hatshot's in charge, then I've got a lot of faith in it. Used to work with him on a couple of projects many moons ago, so got a lot of respect for people out there.
I'll just say don't fuck up. Put it this way, we probably ain't going into COD until next year. GM, by the way. I mean, nice to meet you, Dyson. Welcome to the show, of course. Yeah, my advice or my thought, well, not advice, my thoughts on Revenge is don't really know yous. I haven't really heard of yous until you picked up Cryossi, if I'm being honest. So
Connor hasn't been in the scene, by the way, just since like he wasn't there in 2015.
I've been in like year and a half, man, like year and a half. No, but actually about 3 years. I was in 2017. So yeah, 3 years now. But yeah, I'm not really too familiar on Revenge, so that's my bad. But I just say just don't fuck up. That's just what I'd say. Just keep it a steady pace, don't fuck up. We probably ain't going into COD until next year. I mean,
I don't know what happened with the team that you're going to pick up then.
Yeah,
because let us know if we can talk about that on the next show.
Can you are we allowed to talk about that or not? Because
we'll be probably talking about
that was a big move.
We'll talk about it tomorrow on the European Open broadcast as well. The Dallas European Open.
The last one was, of course, from Crazy, one of our fans. Just joking, if you are here, you are a good person. What do you think of new / small orgs going for affiliates? I'm guessing you're going to mean affiliates as in you use our code.
Oh, it's a waste of time. We've spoken about this before. There's Twitch clips about it. Mikey or someone tweeted out.
Like a million Twitch clips. Like
absolute waste of time.
Yeah, don't do it, bro. You're wasting your whole Like if you're an org and you're going in for affiliates.
Falls on the elitist team or the elitist organization, Brick?
Yeah, there's two different ones, bro. We follow the team closely. We don't follow the org. There's a big difference in that one. Buffer's looking big, bro. You've been hitting the gym.
Absolutely
Buffer's
not.
Always hits the gym, bro.
No, I don't.
You see, I'm gonna drive to Nottingham one day. Me and Buffer's gonna hit a big Brummie Boys vlog gym for you.
Oh yeah.
I'm gonna get Buffers in the gym, lads.
As long as we get Brody in the kitchen, I'll get in the gym.
Yeah, Brody's gonna do a cooking stream at 100 subs. By the way, the original Sue Perkins. I gave Brody the rundown, so he can't tell you. I wouldn't speak about it until they join and who walked around.
Right, more stuff Brody can't tell us about. So...
Wait, do you mean he can tell us or he can't tell us? Oh, okay. He just hasn't. But yeah, I mean, that's all the questions we have on the Q&A, I believe. That's
Randall, don't go to Brody. Come to me, mate.
Yeah, come to us, bro.
I'm the man. I own this shit. You ever look at an org with affiliates and just feel like, yeah, they don't know what they're doing literally all the time? If they've got an affiliate scheme with like Fatal Grips or something, I just immediately know they're not going anywhere.
Hey guys, use my code for 5% off these awesome.
We get nothing out of it. Yay! They're not going anywhere. They're done. They're dead in the water already. By that point, as soon as they got to that point, they're dead.
But they make you shoot straight up.
No, they don't. Shut up.
Brilliant. Yeah, affiliates. Unless it's like high up, then no.
Yeah, there's no point. There's absolutely no point. If anyone's doing that, they should probably just close the org now and liquidate their assets.
But yeah, no scope glasses are now official affiliate for Revenge. I mean, have fun with your 5%, brother.
If it's a sponsorship, it's cool. If it's an affiliate, it's shit.
There's a fine and big difference between the two. Once again, there's Twitch clips about it. There's clips in this channel about it. So fucking go find them. We're not gonna go over it.
They're all over the timeline anyway.
But we agreed on clinch.
Fucking.
Bro, why is it? Yeah, why is it grips are so popular, bro? Like, if you're gonna get any, you just want to go control freak, can't you?
Shark grips and all that kind of shit as well.
Yeah, like, you're just gonna go there. You're not gonna get like these little ones that come out of nowhere that somehow charge more than the higher prices. Pick up out beavers. Enjoy the logo on your shit though. Control freak is meta. It's just known.
All right. Anyway, I think we're going to cut it there. Yeah. I've got to go and eat. So I hope we had a good show tonight. Obviously, the energy's been a little bit flat. Me and Connor a bit deflated. We've had some kind of shit news in today. But nonetheless, we're going to be back tomorrow at 12 p.m. for the Dallas Open coverage on Twitch. Then on Sunday, it will be casted live on the YouTube channel. So make sure to go and subscribe to that. I'm sure that'll be in chat. Thank you guys, of course, for all the support on that tweet today. I know it got deleted. There's reasons behind that, but we can't talk about it. We'll put the tweet back out in a bit, and you can guys give the interactions on it there. But make sure that everyone knows. If you can get the tweets out and let everyone know that we're going to be doing the show tomorrow live on Twitch in a Beyond the Call 1K show format. That's going to be for tomorrow. We're going to be looking at streams, that kind of thing. And then, of course, on Sunday, we're casting matches with a live desk. We're going to have myself, Brody, Chris, and Connor rotating on desk host, analysis roles, casting roles. We've got it all going on. I hope you guys are going to really enjoy what we've got coming for the AM scene this weekend. It's been something that we've been wanting to do for a really long time. We finally got the permissions to do it. We're so excited. Thank you to the CDL. Thank you to the CDC. Thank you to all the teams and everything as well, because thank fuck that we're on board for it, because we've been wanting to do this for so long. We want to do something so big for the COD scene. We wanted to do something, give it coverage, because no one else will. We're the people to step up to the plate, and we're happy that we've been able to bring you all of this stuff together as Connor just spikes his pen into his desk. Anyway, we hope you guys enjoyed the show. We hope you guys are back here tomorrow at 12 midday for the show. It will be starting then. We'll be getting right into things with the stream. Hope you guys are there. Hope you guys enjoy. And, of course, by all means, we will see you tomorrow at that time, providing that you boys are there. You better be, because we'll be looking for your Twitch Primes.
Bye!